Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. In previous lecture we complete lesson number 4. Today I am going to start lesson number 5, that is quadrilaterals. Okay. So first of all, what is quadrilateral? You know that the shape of the geometry is made up of which side? Okay. The shape of the object, or we can say that the shape of the figure, are based on the number of sides. For example, if any shape or any figure have two sides, then we said it is angle. If it is at three sides, then it's triangle. Four side quadrilateral, five side pentagon, seven side, six sides hexagon, seven side heptagon, and so on. That means shape and the figure in the geometry is made up of side. That means the number of side decide its name, or you can say that the name of that figure or the object. If the figure or object has two sides, then it's angle, three sides triangle, four side quadrilateral, five side pentagon, six side hexagon, seven side heptagon, and eight side octagon, so on. That means the shape of the figure, and you can say the shape of the object can be determined with the help of the sides or by counting the number of sides. Okay. Today we are going to discuss about quadrilateral. So quadrilateral is a figure that has four sides, or you can say that the four edges, and also have four corners, that means vertices. So quadrilateral is a figure, is a plane figure which has four sides, 4 points, four angles. Okay. So simply a quadrilateral is an object or a figure in which four sides are there, four corner, that means four vertices, and four angles. Okay. So a quadrilateral has four side, four angles, four vertices. Four vertices, that means 4 points. Okay. That means quadrilateral is made up of by connecting 4 points. A quadrilateral can be regular or irregular. The sum of all interior angles of a quadrilateral is always 360. The sum of the interior angles of a quadrilateral is 360 degree. This is the important property of quadrilateral. Remember these properties. Okay. Now the next is type of quadrilateral. There are different types of quadrilateral you study in previous class. That is, square is also a quadrilateral as it has four sides, four angle, four vertices. Rectangle is also a quadrilateral. Parallelogram is a quadrilateral. Trapezium is a quadrilateral. Rhombus and kites, these all are the quadrilateral, as all these figure, all these objects has four sides, four angle, and four corners. So these all are the quadrilateral. So remember here the types of quadrilateral are square, rectangle, parallelogram, rhombus, trapezium, and a kite. These are the types of quadrilateral that you have to study today. Okay. Let's discuss each type of quadrilateral one by one. First one is rectangle. See here, this is a figure of rectangle, and you are familiar with the rectangle. Rectangle is made up of 4 points. Okay. All four angles of rectangle are of 90 degree, and opposite sides of rectangle are congruent. That means lengths are congruent and breadth congruent to breadth. Okay. So this is the important property of rectangle. Opposite sides of rectangle are congruent. That means AB is equal to CD and AD is equal to BC. And diagonals of rectangle are bisect each other. So therefore OA is equal to OC, OD is equal to OB. That means diagonals divided in equal parts. This is called diagonals bisect each other. So there are three important properties. First one, all four angles of rectangle 90 degree. Opposite sides are equal and diagonals bisect each other. Okay. So these are the properties of rectangles. A rectangle has three properties. Number one, all angles of rectangle are 90 degree. Opposite sides of rectangle are equal and parallel. They are parallel also and they are equal. You can say that the congruent. Diagonals of rectangle bisect each other. Remember these properties. Next is area and perimeter of rectangle. Area of rectangle is nothing but length into breadth. You are familiar with this formula also. and perimeter of rectangle is nothing but 2 times length plus 2 times breadth, or you can write 2 multiplied by length plus breadth. So rectangle area and perimeter of rectangle we already discussed in previous class also, it's not new for you. Okay, next is square. See here in this figure, this is the square. Quadrilateral ABCD is a square. Observe here, angle ABCD, that means all four angles of square are of 90 degree, and diagonals intersect each other at 90 degree, that means diagonals perpendicular bisect each other, and all four sides of a square are equal. So these are the important properties of square. All four sides of square are equal, that means congruent. All four angles are of 90 degree, and diagonals perpendicular bisect each other. Remember these three properties, they are very important. Okay, so first property, all the angles of a square are of 90 degree. All sides of a square are equal and parallel to each other. All four sides are parallel to each other and they are also equal. Diagonal bisect each other perpendicularly, that means diagonal bisect each other at 90 degree. Okay, next is area and perimeter of square. Area of square is side into side, or you can say that side square. Perimeter of square is equal to 2 into a plus a, that means 4a. That means you can say that in short 4 into side. Perimeter of square is 4 into side, and area of square is side square. Okay, next is parallelogram. See here in this figure, side AB is equal to side CD and side BC is equal to side AD. That means opposite sides of parallelogram are equal, or you can say that the congruent. And AO is equal to OC, DO is equal to OB. That means diagonals bisect each other, diagonals intersect each other, and opposite angles are equal. So therefore angle A is equal to angle C, angle B is equal to angle D. These are the three important properties of parallelogram. Number 1, opposite sides are equal. Number 2, opposite angles are equal, diagonals bisect each other. Okay, once again recall the properties of parallelogram. Number 1, opposite angles are equal, opposite sides are equal and parallel, diagonals bisect each other. Sum of any two adjacent angle is 180 degree. Adjacent angle means angle next to one is called adjacent angle. Sorry, A and B are the adjacent angle, whereas A and C are the opposite angle. So adjacent angle, sum of adjacent angle is 180 degree, and sum of interior angle, you know that 360 degree. Okay, next is area and perimeter of parallelogram. Perimeter of parallelogram is same as rectangle, 2 into length plus breadth. Parallelogram is same as rectangle, just one difference is there. Here opposite angles in parallelogram are equal, but in rectangle all four angles are of 90 degree. Okay, and the formulas are same. Perimeter of parallelogram 2 into length plus breadth, and area of parallelogram same, length into height. Okay, and you can say length into breadth. Next is rhombus. Okay, see here in this figure, ABCD. AB is equal to BC is equal to CD is equal to AD. That means all four sides of rhombus are equal, first property. And diagonal AO is equal to OC, DO is equal to OB. That means diagonal bisect each other. And you can see that in figure, diagonal intersect at 90 degree. That means diagonal perpendicular bisect each other. And angle A is equal to angle C, angle B is equal to angle D. That means opposite angles are equal. Okay, so in rhombus all four sides are equal, opposite angles are equal, diagonals perpendicular bisect each other. These are the three important properties of rhombus. Okay, so important properties of rhombus are: number 1, opposite angles are equal or congruent. All sides are equal and opposite sides are parallel to each other. Next, diagonal bisect each other perpendicularly. That means diagonals intersect each other at 90 degree. Sum of any two adjacent angle is 180 degree. Sum of adjacent angle is 180 degree. These are the properties of rhombus you have to recall in mind. Perimeter and area of rhombus. If the side of rhombus is represented by A, then perimeter of rhombus is nothing but 4A, that means 4 into side. And if the diagonals of rhombus are represented by D1 and D2, that means diagonal 1 and diagonal 2, then the area of rhombus is half into diagonal 1 into diagonal 2. Okay. Perimeter of rhombus is 4 into side and area of rhombus is half into diagonal 1 into diagonal 2. Now the next is trapezium. See, this is the figure of trapezium. In trapezium, one opposite side is parallel. So here AB is parallel to CD. In a trapezium, one opposite side is parallel. So the properties of trapezium is only one pair of opposite side are parallel to each other. In a trapezium, one pair of opposite side is parallel to each other. This is the important property of trapezium. Perimeter and area of trapezium. Perimeter of trapezium is nothing but sum of length, sum of all the sides, sum of the length of all the side, that means AB plus BC plus CD plus AD. You know that the perimeter is nothing but the sum of the length of boundaries. So here the perimeter of trapezium is nothing but the sum of the length of all four sides of the trapezium. And area of trapezium is half into sum of the length of parallel side. Area of trapezium is half into sum of the length of parallel side, that means AB plus CD into height. Height, that means the distance between these two parallel side. Parallel side is its height. Okay. So perimeter is nothing but the sum of all four side and area is half into sum of parallel side into height. So here we discuss all the types of quadrilateral. Let's revise. The first one is parallelogram. The first, you have to write the four properties of each quadrilateral in fair notebook. The first is parallelogram. Number 1, opposite sides parallel. Number 2, opposite sides equal. Number 3, opposite angles are equal. Number 4, diagonals bisect each other. Okay. Next, square. First one, opposite sides parallel, all four sides equal, all four angles are of 90 degree, diagonals perpendicular bisect each other. Write this four property in notebook. Next is rectangle. The first property, opposite sides parallel. Second, opposite sides are equal, all angles are of 90 degree, diagonals bisect each other. Write four properties of each and one quadrilateral in fair notebook. First of all, you have to write quadrilateral, meaning of quadrilateral, then types of quadrilateral, then you have to write the properties of each quadrilateral, 4 points about side, about angle, about diagonal, about parallel sides. Next is rhombus. First one, opposite sides parallel, all four sides equal, opposite angles are equal, diagonals perpendicular bisect each other. The four properties of rhombus: opposite sides parallel, all four sides are equal, diagonals bisect each other. Okay. Next is trapezium. Trapezium, first property is one opposite side is parallel and adjacent angle, sum of adjacent angle is 180 degree. Trapezium has only two properties, one opposite side parallel and adjacent angle, sum of adjacent angle is 180 degree. Okay. Let's summarize all these properties. So types of quadrilateral: rectangle, square, parallelogram, rhombus and trapezium. And here the properties. The first one is all sides are equal. All sides are equal in square and all sides are equal in rhombus. Okay, so tick on that, square and rhombus. Okay. Now opposite sides are equal. Opposite sides are equal in rectangle, and in square, if all four sides are equal, then opposite sides are also automatically equal. And in parallelogram also opposite sides are equal. In rectangle, opposite sides equal. In rhombus, if all four sides are equal, then opposite sides are also equal. But in trapezium, opposite sides are not equal. Next property is Opposite sides are parallel. Opposite sides are parallel in all the quadrilateral. In all the type of quadrilateral, opposite sides are parallel. Next is all angles are equal. All four angles are equal in rectangle, that is 90 degree. All four angles are equal in square, that is 90 degree. Okay. Next is opposite angles are equal. Opposite angles are equal in rectangle. If all four angles are of 90 degree, then opposite angles are also equal, that means 90. So opposite angles are equal in rectangle. Opposite angles are equal in square. Opposite angles are equal in parallelogram. Opposite angles are equal in rhombus. But in trapezium, opposite angles are not equal. Next. Sum of adjacent angle is 180 degree. Except trapezium, in all the quadrilateral, the sum of adjacent angles are of 180 degree, that means supplementary. Except then trapezium, in all the types of quadrilateral, sum of adjacent angle, that means next angles are of 180 degree, that means supplementary. Okay. Next is bisect each other. Diagonals are bisect each other in rectangle also, that means they are intersect each other and divide them in equal parts. So diagonals are intersect each other in rectangle also, in square, in parallelogram and in rhombus. But trapezium diagonals do not intersect each other. That means they intersect each other but they do not bisect each other in equal parts. Okay. Next is bisect property. Diagonals bisect each other in rectangle. In rectangle, diagonals do not perpendicular bisect each other, just they are bisect each other. And square, diagonals are perpendicular bisect each other, that means they are intersect at 90 degree. In parallelogram, diagonals bisect each other, they do not bisect at 90 degree. But in rhombus, diagonals perpendicular bisect each other. Diagonals bisect each other at 90 degree in square and in rhombus. Okay. Next is area. Area of rectangle is length into breadth. Area of square is side square. Area of parallelogram again length into breadth. Area of rhombus is half into diagonal 1 into diagonal 2. Area of trapezium is half into sum of parallel side into height. Next is perimeter. Perimeter, that means the sum of length of its boundary. So perimeter of rectangle 2 length plus breadth. Perimeter of square 4 into side. Perimeter of parallelogram 2 length plus breadth. Perimeter of rhombus again 4 into side. And perimeter of trapezium, sum of all the sides of trapezium. Okay. So here we summarize all the properties of all the quadrilateral. Recall all the properties in mind. So all the exercise of quadrilateral based on these properties. Okay. Inshallah, in next lecture we will continue practice set 5.1. Just write these properties in your notebook, in fair notebook, and recall and remember this all these properties. Okay. In fair notebook, first of all you have to write the name of the lesson. Then second one, what is quadrilateral. Then the next is types of quadrilateral. Then you have to write the properties of each and every quadrilateral. While writing the properties, first of all write the name of that quadrilateral, draw its figure, then write its properties along with its area and perimeter. Okay. For all the types of quadrilateral, first of all write the name of that quadrilateral, then draw its figure, write the properties about side, about angle, about diagonals. Okay. And then you have to write its area and perimeter. Okay. Inshallah, in next lecture we will discuss about practice set 5.1 based on these properties. For before that practice set, recall these properties and remember by heart these all properties in your mind. Inshallah, in next lecture we will meet and start practice set 5.1. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. Jazakallahu khair.